guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books with Lily Boo Boo here. Hello baby, you okay? I did just get back from taking them on a walk, so she should be fine. But I am here with a book haul for you. I have a ton of books to show you. I did go to Half Price Books after announcing the historical romance readathon I'm hosting with Lacey and Lisa next week, so I'm very excited for that. So I picked up like 10 new historicals, even though I have my whole corner of my library over here are like triple stacked romances that are historical romances. So I have a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get to some of the books I have received and bought recently. The first book I got was House of Earth and Blood, or Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I did buy this. I ordered it from Amazon and it is not as big as I want it to be, like all of her books. It's 800 pages and it doesn't look 800 pages, so I feel like you don't feel as accomplished reading it. The font is pretty big though, but I just know this is a fantasy book. It is 800 pages. It is massive. It should be twice this big, but they did use the paper thin Bible pages, so I guess that's what they're doing for all of her books. I know they did that for Quarter Wings and Ruin as well, but I've heard really good things about this so far, so I'm reading it over the next week. I think I have a video I'm doing right now, and then I have to read some romances, but after that I'm going to read this, and I'm very excited. This is our pick for Rabbits by Romance book club that I have run with Lacey and Sarah, so I can't wait to read this. Then my book of the month order arrived yesterday, and the book of the month book I chose is The Two Lives of Lydia Byrd by Josie Silver. I don't know what this is about. I think that Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads compared it to a Taylor Jenkins Reid romance, so I'm excited to give this a try, and I love the cover, and I've heard good things about this author. And then with my free credits, I just picked up two other books. I got Daisy Jones and the Six, and then I got An Anonymous Girl, a thriller, and not a romance, a fiction, literary fiction. I don't even know what to call this. It's about a fictional band, and I know it's written in a lot of like interviews. It's totally written in an interview. I've heard the audiobook is better, but I wanted this because I do own, oh, that's cool. It has the Book of the Year sticker on there. I didn't even notice that, of 2019. I also own the Evelyn Hugo in Book of the Month, so that'll match. Then from the publisher, I got a finished copy of From Alaska with Love by Allie James. I did talk about this in my reading vlog I did of recent releases, and I was not a fan of this. I gave it 2 stars. I feel bad. It's about a girl who writes letters to a guy in the military, and then he comes home and it's their romance. It was okay. I wanted a lot more from it, so I have a finished copy now though. Then, this is interesting. I was sent My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This I've heard a lot about. I guess this girl, it's a teacher-student romance, and this girl, the author, is writing about her own experience from what I've heard. So a lot of people have been buzzing about this book. I think it comes out this month, and oh, it comes out March 10th. Oh, comes out next week. It says, exploring the psychological dynamics of a relationship between a precocious yet naive teenage girl and her magnetic and manipulative teacher. So I don't think this is glorifying teacher-student romances, so I'm very interested to read this. Alternates between the past when she has the affair and the present when someone is accusing him of sexual abuse. So sounds very interesting. I really want to read this. Dang it. So I have like really a lot of reading plans. Like March is booked with reading plans, but I really do want to read this. Then Lacey sent me her arc of this because she received a finished copy, I believe, and she didn't need 2 copies, and that's Echoes Between Us by Katie McGarry. This one is about a girl who has a brain tumor, so she's seeing ghosts. And then there's a guy who's a swimmer, and he is an adrenaline junkie, and they're drawn to each other. I love Katie McGarry. I was obsessed with all of her books when I was in high school, so I'm excited to have this. The next one is from Harper, and it is a thriller, and that is Have You Seen Me by Kate White. This is a book about a girl who shows up to work. She's a journalist, and she doesn't have her key card, so she has to be buzzed in, and her boss is like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, you haven't worked here for 5 years. And so she's lost these 5 years of her life, and she has no idea what's been happening and what's going on. It sounds very good, so I can't wait to give this a try. Then I was sent a copy of Beautifully Broken Control from Catherine Cowles. I was also sent this really cute pouch, and then I was sent a signed copy to give away on my Instagram, which I already did, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I do have a lot of giveaways I like to do, and this one is book 4, I think, in the series. I read book 3, it was okay, but this one is about 2 damaged people, and they kind of learn to let each other in, and they're small town romances. I've heard the first few are really good. I just wasn't a fan of the characters in book 3, so I'm definitely gonna give this a try, and I can't wait to read it. The next one, I don't know. Lake Union Publishing sent this to me. I don't work with them normally, so I don't know how they got my address, but it's Problem Child by Victoria Helen Stone. This is about Jane Doe, who is a psychopath, and she realizes her niece is missing, and she sees, nobody cares, and so when she looks at a picture of her niece, though, she sees the same psychopath, sociopath look in the eyes of her niece as she has. Sounds interesting. Maybe if I look up reviews and see what they are, I'll read this, but we'll see. The next one is from the same publisher, and I don't read these kind of books, but it's In an Instant by Suzanne Redfern. This is about a girl who's in a car accident with 10 other people, and it's about them like surviving and making choices and then being back at home. It came in the mail. I have it. Then I sent a copy of Undercover Bromius by Alyssa K. Adams. This is a finished copy from Berkeley. I did read the arc. I gave it 3 stars. This is a enemies to lovers, and our main character is the sister from the girl from book 1. I loved book 1, but this one, I just didn't like the main character. She was just very angry and like snarky and didn't really give the guy a fair shot and was very hypocritical, but I know a lot of people are loving this. I love this series, so I'm excited for book 3, and book 2 comes out this month. Then I was sent a copy of Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. I'm so excited for this one. This is book 2 to Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I gave 5 stars. This, I believe, well, it's Danny, so it's Chloe's sister, and I think she falls for her bodyguard. She is a PhD student, and he is an ex-rugby player, so this sounds very good, and I think a video of them goes viral of him, like, rescuing her. I'm obsessed with this series and this author, and this comes out in June, so I have a really early copy, but I'm gonna devour this. Then I bought 2 books because one, it just came out and I needed it, and that is King of the South by Kalia Reed. I have not yet finished book 3 in their Survive and Trace series, but I needed Livingston's story like no other, and I'm very excited to have this. It is a historical that takes place in the early 1900s. I don't know anything about this plot. I didn't want to read into it because I haven't finished the Survive and Trace series, which is a time-traveling romance back to the early 1900s. So I'm obsessed with this cover, and I cannot wait to read this. I also decided to pick up Landon Shaye by Brittany C. Cherry. I'm going to meet Brittany C. Cherry in May. It's May 1st, I think. It's that weekend at the Nashville signing, and I love her book so much, so I had to pick this up because I'm trash for her. I've heard this is so good. Everybody on my Instagram was saying it's amazing when I showed it in my stories. I just know it's emotional, and there's 2 parts. I've heard book 2 is not as good as book 1, but I'm excited to have this and read it. Then I was sent a paperback copy of Kiss the Stars by A.L. Jackson from the author. Thank you so much to A.L. Jackson for sending it. It is signed and personalized, which is very nice, and this is about a single mother and a drummer, so I am excited to see how this turns out. Then I was sent a finished copy of The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. This is one of the books I have to read in the next week because it comes out, I think, the 17th. It comes out sometime in March. And this is about a girl who was the assistant to this like home renovation couple, and they actually can't stand each other, the couple. And so she and this other intern assistant guy, I think it's more of assistant, have to help like keep them together, I think, and like keep the media off their back, and they fall in love. It kind of sounds like that one Netflix movie, Set It Up. I loved that movie. It was super cute, so I'm excited to read this. I have not heard amazing things so far, but it's short, and I'm gonna give it a try. Then I was sent an arc of The Boyfriend Project by Farah Rokhan. I don't know how to say that last name, but I was sent this from Forever Romance, and I don't know what the heck happened in this packaging. I do think the package got wet, so it's a little like wonky up here. We had like really bad rainstorms like last week, I want to say, and so I think this got a little damaged. There was a live tweeting of a horrific date, and that led our main character and 2 other girls to realize that they were all dating the same guy, so they all decided to put themselves first and not think about men, but then she meets someone at work who's super sweet and seems like the real deal, and so they start dating, I think. And this reminds me of that Lauren Lane series. I don't know what the series is called, but I read the 3rd book recently and really liked it. They all realized they were dating the same guy, became best friends, and like put themselves first and then started falling in love, so this sounds fun and I can't wait to read it. Then I decided to pick up the Written with Regret and Written with You Duet by Ali Martinez. I'm seeing Ali Martinez hopefully at a Polycon if it's still going on amidst this health crisis the US is having. And these are, I think, angsty dark romances. I think she gets pregnant and something happens. I don't know too much. I don't want to go in knowing too much, but I know my dad read this series and liked it, and a lot of other people have read it, so I can't wait to read it. I also went to Half Price Books and went a little crazy, so I did pick up Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. They were having their 20% off sale, and they had this paperback, and I've been meaning to read it. I know some people don't like it because it has like all these footnotes, and that's kind of weird. There's really small font in this book too, and it's giant. I think there's an assassin. I don't know if it's like Assassin School or something, but I've heard good things. Then at Half Price Books, I decided to pick up all of these books. I know I don't need more books, but a bunch of them were only $2, and I went, like I said, when we revealed we were doing our readathon, and I have been craving historical romances lately, so I have a lot. I'm not going to say the plots of all these, but the first one I got was When He Was Wicked by Julia Quinn. I don't know. Oh, look at that step back. I love step backs. I don't know what this is in this series. I think it's in the Bridgerton series, but I don't know for certain. So it never says in the front of these books if it is or not. Wait, there's a family tree. It is the Bridgerton series, so it was $2 and 20% off, so I had to buy that. We all know I love pirate romances. Well, I don't know if you know, but I know I love pirate romances. So I got A Pirate of Her Own by Kinley McGregor. I've been collecting Kinley McGregor's books because, you know, she's Sherilyn Kenyon, and I have not read a book, I think, by either pen name, but I really want to read this author's historicals, and it's a pirate romance, so I want it. The next one just sounded so good, so I'll tell you the premise of this one. It is Milady Captured by Hannah Howell. I have not read a Hannah Howell book, but I know people really enjoy her books, and this cover is super adorable. And so her brother's held captive, and she has no money, and so she decides to ransom someone herself so that she can get her brother back, and I think she falls for the guy that she ransoms. So this sounds so fun, and I'm a sucker for a nice cover, so can't wait for this. Another Kinley McGregor book I picked up was Sword of Darkness, which is book 1 in this series. This was on clearance as well as the next book I got. And this is the Lords of Avalon series. So it's during like the Camelot time period with King Arthur. So this says Arthur and his knights have fallen and a new king rules. So I think it's right after King Arthur time, but I got it. I also got the Immortal Highlander by Karen Marie Moning. I didn't know that I didn't own this, so my mom like picked up a few books she saw in the clearance section and brought them over to me, and I was like, no, I have that. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh wait, I don't, because I only have the first like 4 or 5, and I guess there's more than that in this series, so I needed to pick this up. I think this is book 6. Yeah, they're time-traveling Highlander romances. I picked up another pirate romance, and this one I believe was from Goodwill. Let me get this sticker off real quick from the spine. There we go. I think I've read a couple books by this author, and it is Thief of Hearts by Teresa Medeiros. And again, another gorgeous step back, and this one looks pretty old. I don't know when this was published. 1994, a year after I was born, and all I know is that this is a pirate romance, and this girl is prim and proper and knows little of men and nothing of danger, and then she's kidnapped. This sounds good. Then I just like to pick up Joanna Lindsey books whenever I find them, so I got You Belong to Me, and this one of course I had to buy because of that step back, because why not? And I don't know what this is about. I never know what Joanna Lindsey books are about when I pick them up, but I'm excited. Then I picked up 2 Lisa Kleypas books. We have Seduce Me at Sunrise, which I have the Midnight one, which I believe is book 1, and I had to get this. I don't know anything about this series, but I know Lacey loves it. And then I got Scandal in Spring, which is this one, and I read the first one, which is Summer, something in Summer, and this is the Wallflower series, Secrets of a Summer Night. I don't know, but they are wallflowers. If not, I bought it anyways because that's me. And I also got a Tessa Dare book, which is Romancing the Duke. Again, we have another really good setback. This is the actual, model of historical romances. It's on like a billion historical romances. I follow Reed's Romance on Instagram. I'll leave her Instagram down below. She has a really good historical recs and romance recs, and she loves historicals. And this model is on a ton of historicals, so I always notice that when I see her on covers, but I don't know what this one's about. So she's always wanted romance, and now she's 26 and never been kissed, and so she finds her true love, I guess, when she's finally 26, because she hasn't found him yet. Sounds really cute. Then I did a book outlet order where I mostly got books for my classroom, so those are already in my classroom. I had a $28 off coupon, so I used that, but I did pick up 3 historicals, 2 by Beverly Jenkins. I got Tempest, and then I also got Through the Storm. I don't know what these 2 are about, but I've been meaning to buy more of hers. I already own 3 of her books, and I need more. I thought I owned more than that. Maybe I only own 2 of her books, but I'm trying to collect all of her books because she's another classic historical romance author that I should be reading. And then I got a Loretta Chase book, and this is A Duke in Shining Armor. I think so. She is bookish, bespeckled, and she is supposed to marry a gorgeous rake, and then she decides to not marry him, and the guy's best friend ends up seeing her and like trying to take her back, and I think they fall in love. So it sounds cute. Okay, so then I also, in that book outlet order, picked up Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I owned this in hardback like 2 years ago, and then I got rid of it because I wasn't into thrillers, and I had picked it up for my dad, but he doesn't really like Karen Slaughter too much because of how dark they are, and so it was like $1 when I picked it up, and so I got rid of it and now everybody's reading her and I'm like, well, now I want to read her books. They sound really good. So I got this. And then I also got Invisible Ghosts by Robin Schneider. I just really loved this cover. I guess that her brother is a ghost and so he's stuck at 15 forever and he's her best friend and she ends up falling for someone. So sounds really good. I love the cover. And then I also got The Perfect Mother, which is a thriller. I don't know anything about this. I think these new moms of whose babies were born the same month all meet up. And one of the babies is taken while they're all out together. I think I remember hearing about this from someone. Maybe Kayla from Books and Lala read this, but I want to read it and it was super cheap on book outlets. I think I ended up spending like $15 on like 20 books, so it was a really good deal for all these books that I got. The last two books I got are books from William and Morrow they sent my way, and they are these two. So we have The Moonglow Sisters by Lori Wilde, and then On the Corner of Hope and Maine by Beverly Jenkins. I don't know if these are like women's fiction novels and that's why they all look like they're kind of the same. I didn't know that either of these authors wrote for William and Morrow, so yeah, these don't sound like romances. I think they're more like family and like community based stories, so we'll see if I read them, but I was sent these from the publisher. And that is my book haul. I do have 2 more books I know that have arrived for me at my parents' house and my dad's bringing them over today. I get my book mail sent there because I've been vlogging since 2011 and it's just easier to not have to change where things are sent for me, because I've moved twice now since I've started blogging, so yeah. That'll be my next book haul though. Let me know down below what you're excited for me to have received and what you have read and what you've received lately. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.